So my start in real estate started pretty early because my father started Oxford Properties in 1960. After 4 years as a retail stockbroker, I joined Oxford in 1980 in Toronto as a leasing coordinator.
John being deserving of the Icon Award, even though he's a little guy, he's a giant of the industry. And he's successfully run Oxford, successfully disposed of it in a very difficult time, and then created a whole new industry in Canada by starting what I think is the first and certainly the biggest, to my knowledge, essentially private equity real estate company with all kinds of different products.
You know, when I first heard that John was getting the award, I thought, of course, it's a natural selection. To me, he is the icon. John gets his hands into this stuff. He's not some guy sitting off in a corner calling shots. He's engaged, and it can be messy, but he's always paying attention to what his stakeholders need and want, and he's looking for the win-win solution. And that's the experience I've had with him. And I would say that I have never, I have never placed a call to John Love and not had it returned, very shortly afterwards. And I've never sent an email to John Love and not had it returned shortly afterwards. And there's very few people in the industry, particularly at his level, with all the things that he's got going on, who is so disciplined and so responsive. And I think it says a lot about just the nature of the beast.
My initial reaction was like anybody else in our industry, to be honest with you, is that we thought, and we all think, that John is incredibly deserving of this recognition. It doesn't matter what criteria you use. If you look at longevity, if you look at intelligence, if you look at imagination, if you look at innovation, if you look at how he has mentored so many people into this industry, if you look at his philanthropic work, the list is long, and it's getting longer. So John has had a profound effect on the real estate landscape in Canada and has helped to develop it and bring it to where it is today.
So the KingSett story is all about the people. And I've been blessed to assemble a great team of leaders and others inside the business. And we've had phenomenal support from our investors and other stakeholders, as well as the broader ecosystem, which includes our brokers, bankers, lawyers, accountants, intermediaries, and so on, all of which combine. It's a village, and have combined to make the village of KingSett quite successful.
If there's something important going on, whether it's business or philanthropy, or his own family, or somebody else has got a problem, he's there. Anytime, I'm the kind of friend that I'm expensive to have because I do work on a lot of philanthropic endeavors. John's never said no. And usually surprises me by the level of his involvement and his enthusiasm. He created with some partners this MS Center at St. Mike's Hospital that's world-class, it's state-of-the-art. That will be part of his legacy too. And I don't think, because he comes across as a bit of a tough guy, which we all try to do in this business, but what he's done in healthcare, particularly for MS, and for our community in general, is something that is very important for people to know.
So when I was first informed that I would be this year's recipient of the Icon Award, I immediately thought of my late father, who some 26 years ago received the same award, 1997, I think the first time it was given. And I remember being at that luncheon, how proud I was of my father, who meant so much to so many people. He did so much for so many.
John did probably the best deal that I've ever worked on in terms of buying and selling. So he purchased a property that Gary Morisuti and I had listed in Edmonton in 2003, where the leasing market was very lethargic, and he purchased it for $25.5 million. He put some capital in, and 4 years later, we sold it again for John at $111.4 million. Now you look at something like that, you say, well, is that luck? And yes, it is. I wouldn't dispute that. But luck in business is more about being, when opportunity arises, being prepared, being informed, being able to act, having the conviction to act. And John had all of that. And the other thing that he did was he did not take the perceived wisdom of others. He questioned, he came up with his own ideas, and he was willing to act on them.
I think I appreciate the most working in the real estate business, how strong the relationships have been across the platforms. I mean, we have to put in perspective that we are in the real estate business. That is the shallow end of the gene pool. We're not cracking the atom. But what makes this industry and this business so unique is relationships and the ability to work with others, sometimes on other side of the table, sometimes on the same side of the table. And in the Canadian business, people are well connected and really come together in such a strong way. And I've enjoyed every moment of my career so far.